teams with good pitching staffs from the outside looking in and just getting started here. Where does this one rank?
I've been spoiled. This team reminds me a lot of Tampa, my early years in Tampa, because it was a young pitching staff over there. We might have only had Charlie Morton, who was the vet, and a lot of people outside of the game they weren't really familiar with the pitching staff, but guys within the league was quite familiar with the stuff, and this team is really close to that.
To join the Bucks, a proud franchise with a lot of history here. Talk a little bit about being here at Pirate City and bringing your game in and joining forces and moving forward.
Ton of history, you're right, and the fans are very proud of this team. I remember playing against them early in my career in St. Louis, and it was sold out. And I just remember talking to Wayno, like, man, it's like this here. Then the stadium's beautiful, of course, with the backdrop and everything. There's a lot to like as just a guy in baseball.
You talked about, younger guys being able to watch you in this clubhouse. What sort of leadership qualities do you think you can establish here pretty quickly?
Not much. Nah, just I'm just a pro's pro. I was lucky enough to come up with Yachty, Wayno, Matt Holliday, and seeing how those guys went about their business. I was lucky for me to have such good leaders earlier in my career. They taught us well. There's a lot of guys in the game who we came up when 14, 15, they're still in the game. And just how we go about our business is strictly because of them.
Shelton had mentioned the other day that left field seems like it's going to be a spot you're going to get a lot of time, bounce around as well, but primarily left. Were those the conversations from over the off season, or when did that all start to come to the surface?
Now,
yeah.
I just show up and get my work in during batting practice and make sure I'm ready for the game. I really, right, left, I don't really care. That's minimal to me. I just got to do my job defensively better this year because I'm out to prove myself that I'm better than what I've showed last year defensively.
Is there anything specifically you've done in this offseason to put yourself in a better
spot?
No,
I know what to do, man. I know this game more than the analytics. I know how to be a plus defender. Sometimes, like last year I was playing deep. When you're deep, you don't really put yourself in a position to throw out guys when they're on the bases. You're getting to the ball late, you're throwing from a longer distance. When I got to Kansas City, I played more shallow, and I was +5 defensive run save late in the season strictly just by moving in more shallow, and the outfield coach, my guy D over there, he believed in me. He said, if they hit it over your head, it's probably on the pitcher. He said, but you need to, we've noticed you're too deep, play more shallow, and from just playing more shallow. And I came up playing a shallow outfield in St. Louis. We were always taught to take away the singles. Playing deep is something new to me in the big leagues. From my time in Tampa and San Diego, they wanted us to take away the extra base hit. A lot of these teams stress that now, to take away the extra base hit. I was never taught that coming up. We were always taught to take away the singles, and there's a lot of familiarity with me playing more shallow, and based off the last month of the season, that's clearly what I'm good at.
How much is it comforting to want to play shallow and know that the guy next to you can cover a lot of ground with O'Neal Cruz being in center?
No, you don't. Having a guy that could cover a lot of ground, that's just a plus. That's not something you worry about in the outfield. That's just a plus. You have to know that you're covering your ground for the team, for the pitching. I want to do my job as best as possible to help out the pitchers, so that they could have trust in me. It's not necessarily. It's more of a comfort thing, like you said. When you're out of that comfort zone, you're always second guessing yourself. There's thoughts in your head. You just don't feel confident. When you're at a place like for instance, let me give you an example. If you're playing deep, you know, let's say the card wants you 7 deep, then you got a guy on second base and a ground ball or line drive gets hit to you. Now you're like, oh man, I got to get to this ball quicker to throw out this base runner, you know. So now you're rushing, you get to the ball, you're not under control. There's a lot of things speeding up on you versus, you know, when you're in a position where you're confident that if you get this, if I start here and I get to that ball that's hit to me, I know I can throw him out.
Do you feel like
Sorry, guys.
surrounding-
We gotta get him going.
He's got
Sorry
a
about
meeting
that.
at 9.
We got a meeting at 9.